presence, for I am here, Jonny Hood, and I'm here to save you from the tyrannical clutches of Canadian television. Oh, it makes me shiver just thinking about it. Now, Jonny, that title is a little incendiary, is it not? And it most certainly is, but it is also remarkably true. It turns out that people don't like it when you take classic English folklore and turn it into a goofy little hand puppet. And that is what some of our Canadian friends have done with what is possibly one of the most well-known and most beloved pieces of English folklore, Robyn Hood. Believe it or not, the country of Canada is not just one big social experiment to see how big potholes can get before an entire population decides to move to another country. No, it is also a country so interesting that on a list of the 30 most interesting facts about Canada, number 20 is that they really like mac and cheese. Well, that is interesting. And as I've mentioned, one of our incredibly courteous, craft-loving Commonwealth companions has taken the beloved tale of Robyn Hood and modernised it for new television audiences. I am, of course, talking about the legendary Robyn Hood and its equally legendary director, Director X. What do you mean you've never heard of Director X? Why, he's the visionary behind classic works such as Little Mix's Black Magic music video, in which the group used their newfound magical powers to make a blonde girl fart in public. It's nothing if not timeless. And if you still don't know who I'm talking about, then maybe you'll know him from one of his other creative aliases that include Mr. X, Little X, or simply X.
What the hell is even that?
So, Mr. X has modernised the tale of Robyn Hood in the form of an 8-episode televisual series. Now, just before you start booing and throwing things at your screen due to a lack of originality, he swapped the I for a Y. You see what he did there? So now, it's like the girl's name, Robyn. And it turns out that swapping the I for a Y is a very fitting change, as Y is what you're going to be screaming throughout the entirety of the show. So, the finale of this new Robyn Hood series aired just the other day, and yes, I have watched all 8 episodes, and having done so, I have reached an executive decision, and that is that I'm going to be personally declaring war upon Canada. And it would appear I'm not the only individual who has found themselves somewhat perturbed by this new show. Almost every single review on every single platform that I have read reviewing this show has been tearing it limb from limb. So, why is it that everyone hates this show? Well, there's only one way to find out, and I'm dragging you along with me. But first, a word from today's sponsor. Surfshark, the one-stop shop for your online privacy. Surfing the web can be risky business. Hackers, data breaches, people looking to steal your information, and that's why you need a VPN like Surfshark. Not only does it keep your location, information, and activity online completely private when you're at home, but it will also keep you protected when you're on the move too. Maybe you like to work from your favourite coffee spot. Well, no longer do you need to fear the dreaded public Wi-Fi. Surfshark's got your back and will encrypt all of your online data, shielding you from any nefarious activity. And today's video wouldn't even be possible without Surfshark, as their VPN allows me to access servers all over the world, granting me access to shows that aren't available in my region, and selecting a new country or server is as easy as one click. So go ahead and hit that first link in the description to get yourself protected online, and make sure to use code JOHNNYLAW at checkout to get yourself 5 extra months for free. And a big thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. And it kicks off with the Merry Men, and Merry Men women of course, and it would appear that they're big fans of Jonny Somali, as they've broken into private property in order to film a music video. But don't worry, because the Blues and Twos are on hand to apprehend the miscreants.
Hey, B.
Run this hood, run this hood, run this hood.
Or to run in the complete opposite direction. But no matter, because the police follow them back to their place of residence. There's no escaping now. The only thing that could possibly foil an arrest would be something like a singular egg. Good God, he's lucky to make it out alive. Well, after meeting such fierce resistance, there's only one thing left to do. To send a drone. To send a drone.
Sending in an aerial unit.
Okay, I'm not entirely sure what they were planning by deploying a drone. Even if by some miracle you did happen to see the people that you were chasing, what are you going to do? Just look at them for a bit?
Sherwooders are tight. They're smart.
They're smart? Are you sure about that? Because so far, all we've seen is that they tied a slingshot to a piece of timber in order to launch pool balls slower than if you actually just threw them. Oh yeah, we're dealing with a real bunch of Einsteins here.
They care about each other.
Now, I don't know if that's standard procedure. I'm also not sure that whoever wrote this script is familiar with standard human interactions.
Speaking of which, I heard you come in late last night. Fill up the condom jar if you need a re-up.
Well, that is a really unusual way of talking to your daughter.
What do you think, Mom? There you go.
Oh, no. It's one of those shows. Well, you won't be surprised to learn that the show's inner social dialogue is just as clumsy as the actual spoken dialogue as well.
You're like if Facebook was a person.
You're like if Facebook was a person? What does that even mean? What? Mildly archaic? Now used predominantly as a platform for people to sell their old kitchen appliances? Covered in birthday wishes from random pensioners? I mean, it's not the best insult I've ever heard, but it sure beats hearing Canadians using British slang.
Oh, it's gonna be huge.
Yo, allow it, fam, allow it.
Nah, come on, man, you allow it. You ain't moving like that, fam. You don't know about them things, big man. See, it's bad enough when I do it. And look, I know that this wasn't big budget, but, you know, camera stabilization is pretty cheap these days. Harnesses are cheap, dollies are cheap, IBIS has been consumer grade for years, lenses have had stabilization for decades at this point, so when you're shooting slow-moving subjects on relatively flat ground, there really isn't any excuse for footage to be this shaky. Anyway, it turns out that a big, evil, meanie rich man wants to buy the building that Robyn lives in, and he is evil for wanting to do this. Am I right, poor people? There might be just a smidgen of pandering going on here, but never mind that, because Robyn and Little John are having a stick fight.
You know they teach you stuff in the army, right?
Now, I might be wrong about this, but I don't think that they teach you combat with a wooden pole in the army. There might be a few warrior monks scattered throughout the Tibetan hills that might teach you such skills, but the army? I'm not too sure. I think they've got slightly bigger fish to fry.
You know that was a peaceful protest! Put it down!
Well, that is one of the more belligerent and clumsy depictions of policing I've ever seen on film. There was no attempt to detain the woman or to put her in cuffs. There was no taser. He just straight up shot her in the stomach. That's pretty cold, man.
Baby, I can't feel my legs.
I'm sorry. I know this is supposed to be like an emotional scene, but there was just no attempt at nuance. There was no real message here. Like in the script. Who am I kidding? There wasn't a script. They probably just had a sheet of paper that they all stood around that just said "policeman bad" on it and just applauded each other for a little while before they started filming. Whatever's next, a rotund computer sage / hacker who has metal implants in his fingers so he doesn't have to physically touch his keyboard.
How are you doing that?
Subdermal implants. They bring me closer to the all.
Well, would you look at that? Okay, I see what you did there. They've put 187 on the sheriff's plate. Now, I've listened to enough rap music in my time to know what 187 means, and I'm sure they were all very happy with themselves when they thought of that one. Very subtle, guys. Very well done. Robyn and the gang have now decided to break into evil rich man's tower in order to steal some gold coins from him in order to pay her mother's bail. But oh no! Because they're caught and a fight with 2 wooden sticks ensues. If only they'd trained for such an eventuality. Oh wait, they did. How incredibly fortuitous. And having claimed victory in combat, Robyn and Little John decide to walk away without taking the treasure that they came for? Little John even asks Robyn as they begin to leave if she's got the gold, and she's like, nah, sorry mate, and they just leave.
Sherwooders are tight. They're smart.
Okay, so they were dumb enough to leave without the loot that they came for, but on the way out, they decide to take it to the next level of dumb and decide to carjack and then drive home rich man's Rolls Royce. Now, last time I checked, a Phantom will run you a few $100,000, easily landing you with Grand Theft Auto, which means that you're going to be in prison for, hang on, let me add this up, 3, 4, 5, 6, if you carry the 3, 4, A really long time.
Where'd you learn how to use this thing anyway?
Why are you so surprised? It's a bow and arrow. Kids know how to use these things. You pull the string and you let go. Is this the level of intelligence we're dealing with here? So we're on to episode 2, and the characters and the way the characters interact lead me to believe that there is a very strong possibility that the script was written by a labour camp full of children. Now, if that is the case, I hope very sincerely that they weren't paid a goddamn penny, because this dialogue is garbage.
Yo, how many times do I have to tell you, when parties end, you go home?
Now, I don't know if this woman was at any point handed a script to read, but I am almost certain that she was at some point handed some elephant tranquilizer. What? Why does she talk like that? I don't understand. That's clearly not her real voice. And we know this because she keeps swapping in and out of a real voice. Wait, hold on. Why is this guy wearing a helmet to fly a drone indoors? What are you going to do? Stand up too quick?
Stop. There. Go to thermals.
That's not how thermal imaging works. You know, if anything, switching to thermal imaging would make it considerably harder, if not impossible, to read plates with. As, you know, a car's plate is made out of just a singular material. So it would appear on a thermal imaging camera as just a solid block of colour. You know, one aspect that makes a great villain is diction. Obviously, you know, a competent villain is much more compelling, and having a good vocabulary is a pretty good start. Evil rich guy, though, I mean, although he's actually a decent actor, but not been given the best lines.
Long until the new car is delivered?
It's the principle of the thing.
How eloquently put, my good sir. I couldn't have said it better myself, except I probably could, along with every other human who still has their left hemisphere. Which is most humans.
Have you seen the John Prince pediatric wing just down the way here? It'll change your life, those tiny little smiles.
The bad guy funds a children's hospital. Why the hell would the writers include that? What do they want us to do? Sit there like, how dare you save those children, you bastard! I can't believe I need to say this, but selflessly saving the lives of children is a terrible trait to give to someone who you want to portray as a villain.
The other night, a group of very agitated Sherwooders broke into my home and they destroyed my property and they violated my person.
Have I got this mixed up? This is the bad guy, right? I mean, I know that they want you to hate this guy, but so far, he's done absolutely nothing wrong. He's not broken any laws. He has been the victim of multiple crimes perpetrated by Robyn and her friends. Oh, and now we've just learned that he saves children's lives. So far, all he's been guilty of is the crime of being a rich guy, which, you know, I know to some idiots these days that's as bad as being an Austrian painter. But there we go. Now, I'm not the most wealthy guy in the world. You know what? I'm not ashamed. Last financial year, I made £13,500, just under, before tax. Obviously, not going to pay a whole lot of tax on that. But, you know, I'm not the wealthiest guy in the world. But I still understand that it doesn't matter how much better than me someone else is doing. They could be making billions. It doesn't matter how much more they're making than me. It will never, ever give me the right to take away any of their human rights. It doesn't give me the right to steal their stuff. It doesn't give me the right to deface any of their things. It will never give me that right. You know, so I think that's quite a dreadful, quite a bitter message to be sending to people. Come on, let's be civilized, shall we? Now, I can hear some of you saying, oh, but come on, Jonny, like, you know, this is a fictitious show. This is a TV show. It's not real. And absolutely, fair enough. It is not real. It isn't. But the morals to be found within the show very much are. And the morals in this show so far have been questionable, to say the least.
Miss Loxley, I would like to offer you $1 million.
In exchange for the agreement that Robyn's mum will cease from protesting anymore, she's been given an offer she can't refuse, in the form of $1 million, surgery that could help her to walk again, and scholarships for both of her daughters. Now, something tells me she's about to fumble the bag.
You know the worst part about being paralyzed? I can't shove my foot up your ass.
Now, not to blow my own moral trumpet, but that's That's exactly what I'm about to do. Now, true story. I've now turned down 5 sponsorship offers to endorse a particular mobile game that will go unmentioned because I think it's absolute garbage and I refuse to advertise it. So I have real world experience when it comes to turning down money that I need in order to maintain my own morals. However, forget the scholarships, forget the life-changing surgery. If they offered me $1 million, oh boy, I'd sell you all out so quickly you couldn't even blink. You'd think I'm a Matt Rife ticket in a room full of Facebook moms. I'd come to each one of your houses individually, download the game, and put 100 hours into each copy. 1 million, and she fumbled the bag. You ridiculous individual. She's like, oh, but I care about my community. I think that community would have loved an investment of $1 million. You could have funded your own counter case with that money. Like, you could have used it against him. He even offers her cutting-edge surgery that could help her to walk again, and she's like, no, because I respect my neighbours. If I fumbled 1 million and came home and told my parents, they'd personally paralyse me. And rightly so. Also, does that server have an RGB cable? That's cool, dude.
Drugs, domestics, homicides more than once.
Sherwood's not like that anymore. Sherwood don't need the beast.
Right, so when Robyn says that Sherwood don't need the beast, what she means that, like, those 2 tower blocks that they live in don't need the police because apparently there's no crime there now. Right, okay. Okay, I don't live in a tower block, like a block of flats, but I do live right next door to one. And a bunch of my friends live in said tower block. And I've spent a whole bunch of time there. And trust me, those places need the police. Like a lot. I tell you what as well, I actually do quite like this Tuck guy. He's just a walking meme.
I liberate secrets. I shame the corrupt. I am a ghost in the machine.
He's like the product of an experiment where you combine like the average Thundercat listener with a Reddit mod who has like severe main character delusions. It's magnificent. Oh no. Damn. Choking out a police officer, that's very illegal. You're really not supposed to do that. That's another tick in the box. That's another crime to add to the list. But remember, kids, if you're oppressed enough, it's okay. You can do whatever you want. It's not okay. Don't do that.
I'm sworn to serve and protect every single one of you. And I will.
Okay, so this is the guy that shot Robyn's mum. And look, like, I get it. Like, you're trying to paint the police out to be the villains. But the thing is, a good villain has a motive. And so far, the only motives that you've established for why the police are so malicious when they have no reason to be is, it's because the police. That's the equivalent of, just cause. Like, do keep in mind that children in English exams are being marked down for lazy writing techniques like that. Kids. So far, other than a bunch of name drops, there hasn't been any real or strong ties to the original tale. And I'm happy to say that theme very much continues. Do you guys want to meet the modern interpretation of Guy of Gisborne?
Oh, just like I remember. How long has it been since Guy Gisborne graced your halls, eh?
That's right. He's fresh out, and he seems to have brought a nice pair of shoes with him. He's got a nice pair of shoes. Don't know what you were thinking.
Those who want to play games?
Okay, there aren't too many pistols that made that sound. I think you might have been buying your heat from the same guy as Takeshi 69.
If I walk out of here and then come from behind me out the staircase, hang, it was already supposed to happen.
I don't know what kind of gun that is.
So, Guy of Gisborne is your typical gangbanger. Now, I never thought I'd ever say that in a sentence ever. But, again, they're struggling to establish a motive for the character. So far, he is evil, he is malicious, just because they said so and nothing more. Like I mentioned, learning to avoid this kind of storytelling is elementary level literacy.
I ain't a killer, Robyn. And neither are you. But we might have to be.
Okay, so we can now add intent to murder to the ever-growing list of felonies our so-called heroes seem to be rather swiftly racking up. But never mind all of this premeditated nonsense because Robyn is a good person who does good things. Just look at the way she looks after her newly paraplegic mother.
I'm not hungry. Maybe we could go for a walk or something.
Robyn and the gang are getting sick of Gisborne stealing money from their community, so they get together and devise a plan to save the people.
Please don't. I'm sorry. Hey.
I know.
What the hell is this? Monster got the cash!
Okay, so they didn't actually do anything to save the mechanic who was being tortured by the bad guys. All they did was stole the money from the bad guys that the bad guys stole from him, and then run off, leaving him alone with the people who were still torturing him. Very based. Well, at least they didn't do anything stupid or super illegal like shooting an unarmed man with a bow and arrow. Well, would you look at that? Robyn did something stupid and super illegal and shot an unarmed man with a bow and arrow. Please do remember, children, that it doesn't matter how much you don't like someone, you can't shoot them with a bow and arrow. And Robyn can't claim self-defense either, because the guy that she shot wasn't actually posing a threat to anyone. And best believe you can't tell the judge, oh, but I'm a really good shot, and I knew where to shoot him that wouldn't kill him. That's still assault with a deadly weapon, my friend, and either way, you're going down for quite a while.
Dad, are you good?
Wait, Big Booby Girl is his daughter? That's an interesting choice of wardrobe for you. Yeah, it ain't my family. Now, not only are Robyn and her Merriman women legitimate criminals, but they are now also legitimate vegetables, and they're self-snitching. Why the hell would you record yourself doing it? Assault with a deadly weapon is stupid enough, but videoing yourself assaulting someone with a deadly weapon and then taking that video and editing it into a music video that then further glorifies you assaulting someone with a deadly weapon is a whole nother level of stupid. That's 00 stupid. That's stupid.
You wouldn't have gone there if it wasn't for me.
I didn't go there because of you. Okay?
This woman is legitimately insane. She's saying that if John hadn't spoken to her beforehand, she would have just straight up killed the dude. That's not a heroic display of restraint. You're just a maniac. They threw morality out of the back seat, and now they're just slowly reversing over it.
That was so badass. I feel like I'm 10 feet tall right now.
We were unstoppable.
We were. And maybe we shouldn't stop.
What? No. I think you should stop. You got rid of a violent gun-wielding gang by starting a violent bow and arrow-wielding gang. That's not much better. So they broke the law. They recorded themselves breaking the law. They took that footage and then made a music video glorifying breaking the law. And now they've actively decided to continue breaking the law. That's really cool. That's what a really cool, sane person would do. And we're on to episode 4, and episode 4 kicks off weird.
Masked robbers who rap about their crimes. It's just sexy.
This is gonna be a fun one.
All my life they try to keep us down and keep us all pressed. We gonna go higher, all the haters gonna be upset.
Dear God, this is terrible. Now look, I will give props where props are due. Director X can legitimately direct a good music video. He has directed good music videos, but Lord knows he can't make good music. Now, the depictions of the police force so far have been laughable enough, but nothing could prepare me for the comical depictions of rich people food. First, the clearly plastic pig head at the start, and now this!
You know what I remember most about that place?
What? What on earth is that? She doesn't even have any gravy. I have seen more elegant dishes at Toby Carvery. So, to catch you up, the supposedly evil rich guy is now charging the residents of the 2 tower blocks in which Robyn lives in more for their medical supplies because they live in a poorer area. Can he do this legally? I don't know, but he's rich and evil, and that's reason enough, right?
The Sherwood and Forest community will not be safe until someone turns these outlaws in.
I'm hard-pressed to disagree, Mr. Quayle.
Okay, I get it. The media's corrupt. They feed us false information. It's a very cool message. I've never heard that one before. And while they may feed us false information, let's not forget the very important piece of information, which is that Robyn and her gang all legitimate criminals. But never mind that, because the community won't stand for these new sky-high medical prices, so they come together to make a plan.
You know what we should do? We should occupy the pharmacy.
They want to occupy the pharmacy? What the hell does that mean? You're gonna roll in with tanks now? I mean, I won't put it past them. These people are maniacs.
We know who's responsible. It's the Hood. Joyriding in John Prince's car, trashing those drones, fighting with Guy Gisborne. They ought to turn themselves in.
Wait, what? Yes. Yes. That man just said something based. I agree with that guy.
This is Thanasia's doing, not those kids.
Ah, never mind. Charles Xavier over here has got a better idea, apparently.
Look, I don't like the Hood either, but they're still Sherwooders. We do not sell out our own people.
Sweet Mother Mary, that is a terrible policy. What? It's okay that they break the law because they live in the same building as you? What if it's a nonce? Oh, it's fine. Oh, he's okay. He only touches kids in our building, so I'm not snitching. This woman's insane.
Tressie. Mom? Mom!
Oh, shit. She's so insane she's just passed out, but luckily, Little John was a medic in the army, and he knows what's up.
Okay, she's passing out.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, thanks, mate. Couldn't have guessed that. Cheers. Hold up. Medical prices have gone up by 1,000%. I thought this was supposed to be Canada. What is this, Zimbabwe? What the hell? Where'd you get that kind of inflation from?
Senior year, shop class. They wanted us making door hinges. One day I come in, find a couple cops pulling my work apart. Teacher telling them I'm making a bomb. It was an amplifier. Got expelled anyway.
That's probably the stupidest thing I've ever heard. So, the gang break into a pharma company's HQ, steal a bunch of meds, and they all live happily ever after. I would say that this is the most Robin Hood-like antics we've seen yet. That's what I would say, except Robin Hood and the gang are absolute morons. They could have probably sued the pharma company for discrimination, malpractice, or both, and settled a suit so valuable they could have afforded to keep both tower blocks quaaluded out the wazoo for the next 7 centuries. But no, they've got to add breaking and entering and grand theft to the ever-growing list of crimes. Well done, guys. You're killing it. Literally. Like, murder's the only thing we've got left to go. Can we get it? Let's see if we can get it on the list. So episode 5 kicks off, and Robin and the gang are fired up because one of the local buskers has found himself the butt of one of the rich guy's son's pranks.
You gonna cry, little man?
We need to hurt him. Make him pay.
Yo, that's not what we do.
What do you mean that's not what you do? That is precisely what you've done. But it was an arrow of justice.
Rappers and animal masks? What do you see in them?
Everything. They're bold, mysterious, sexy. They're doing right.
She's a lawyer. A lawyer has watched the music video. She's seen a bunch of masked individuals shoot a guy with a bow and arrow and rap about it, and she thinks that that's not only sexy, but she thinks that they're doing the right thing. The idea that there might actually be people out there that think like this terrifies me. That's deeply concerning.
You're not what I expected.
You could say that again. How did she ever pass the bar? Would you look at that? You can all get out your Robin Hood bingo cards and cross off kidnapping. There's another felony to add to the list. I tell you what, this commit all crime speed run that they're on at the moment, it's going to be a world record at this rate.
Go check the rest of the building. Make sure we're alone.
Guys, I don't know. I'm feeling a bit of torture coming on. I'm going to preemptively cross that off the crime bingo sheet.
Yo, your dad probably has kidnapping insurance. Matter of fact, he probably make a lot of money off of you.
Eh? I mean, I guess some insurance policies would cover kidnapping. I can't say I've ever really thought about it, and I can't say I've ever heard of kidnapping insurance. That's a weird insult.
Who the hell is Elmo? Who's Elmo?
The man you kidnapped yesterday.
Well, no, not really. They offered him money to get into the car, and he accepted.
I got $300. How about now? Come on, bro, get in the car.
Although unkind, you can't actually class that as kidnapping. What you guys have done, though, is 100% kidnapping. That is legitimate kidnapping. And once again, we find ourselves in the awkward position where the bad guys have yet to actually commit a crime, the same cannot be said for the so-called good guys.
This guy in the crowd got creepy, grabbed my ass. I handled it, but it sucked, you know. Later that night, I saw the guy in tears. Somebody smashed up his car, popped his tires.
Ellen did that?
And would you look at that? We can also cross vandalism off the ever-growing list as well. There you go. It just gets better and better. And I shouldn't think that this needs saying, although this program is making me think otherwise. If someone grabs your friend's ass, that's not cool. That's really not cool. But if you then go and smash up their car and slash their tires in response to that, you've not solved anything and you've just successfully become a bad person as well. Hey! We got it! Assaulting someone who you've kidnapped and tied up. Okay, you couldn't... I wouldn't call it torture, but if that tackle hadn't knocked him free, I don't know what you'd have done to him. That's a bingo, my friend.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Party, it's me and the team. Ain't nothing nice, we coming in me. Crashing the party, it's me and the team. Ain't nothing nice, we coming in me.
I want to make it clear, I'm a big hip-hop guy. I like a lot of classic hip-hop. I like a lot of modern hip-hop. Not this, though. What you got, now we got you on the spot, like a pot, it's getting hot. Wow, those some super hot fire nursery rhyme bars you got there. Let me guess, did the cow jump over the moon as well? That's a good one. I like that one. It's a good one. And we're now on to episode 6, where the evil rich guy is now attempting to negotiate the terms of Robyn's mum's surrender in terms of protesting. Now, I do think that this show vastly overestimates the impact that an irritating person with a megaphone has on large property deals, but the show does need a plot, so we're going with it.
Why take that chance, Tressie? I'm willing to provide new homes for you in developments all around the city. You avoid homelessness. I don't have to look like the bad guy.
Once again, I'm a little confused as to why the writers include some of the details that they do. So it turns out that the big evil rich guy had plans to relocate everyone who lived inside the buildings that he was going to buy. Something he's not obliged to do, by the way. So that does somewhat dilute his malice, as the backbone of his villainous nature is the fact that he's a big rich guy chucking a bunch of poor people out on the street. But it turns out that's not even the case, and he was going to offer them all homes. I don't understand why they do that. It's like they're trying to make him look good. I don't get it.
So what gives you the right to just tear that all down and scatter us to the wind? Because you're rich and we're poor?
Yes. What? I've got to be the villain and say it out loud? Oh, is this when I find out that I've been the bad guy this whole time and didn't even realize it? Like, yes, that's exactly what it is. You don't own the building that you live in, and someone wants to legally purchase it. That's one of the risks when it comes to living in a complex like that. That's just the way it is. You can't just close your eyes and sing Kumbaya till he disappears. The world's got to keep spinning.
Are you sure you're qualified, though?
Yeah, I'm qualified to bust your ass.
Damn, wow, you got him there.
My implants make my interface with my computer a transcendental experience.
I'm telling you, as someone who plays both Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic, there's no way that this guy doesn't. I can see it. I can smell it from here. I know it.
What are you doing? John Prince killed my father.
Wait, hold on now. That's actually an interesting development. The rich guy killed the lawyer's father. Turns out a not-so-villainous villain might actually be a villain after all.
My mom left him and he started drinking. He killed himself.
That means then that John Prince didn't kill him. Like, that was just about to go somewhere. You just straight up lied. Look, I like Community as much as the next guy, but if I had to stand in a field and listen to one of my neighbours sing Ave Maria, I think I'd Ave a stroke and be real happy about it. You know what? I retract that statement. I'd rather listen to my neighbours sing Ave Maria.
You know, I could just walk out. I'm sure I can get enough votes by next week.
And I could veto a bill I find bad for the city.
So, the rich guy is now being strong-armed into taking a deal because Commie Professor X says that the neighborhood that she lives in has character.
Tressie, I can't sell special. Not to people like me.
People will buy. Okay, this place has got character.
So they give you millions, and you give them character. Yeah, that's a pretty good deal. Now, if you thought that was ridiculous, the Hood are now performing in front of a crowd where they know there's a policeman and a live news crew and begin musically taunting the guy they shot with a bow and arrow, whilst one of them is carrying that very bow and arrow. But I don't know how legal it is to carry a strung bow and arrow with you and an arrow full of quivers in a public area with heavy foot traffic, but I can't imagine the police would look too kindly on that, or the public around you. But either way, the situation starts to heat up, and watch out, because the Fisher-Price police are coming. I mean, the riot police are coming. Ah, dear. Okay, maybe the situation's a little different with our neighbours over the pond, but I'm pretty sure that the riot police don't show up banging their shields like a goddamn war cry. I think you might have them mixed up with like the Vikings or something. I don't know.
We'll be all right. They can't keep us forever.
I don't know. If they find out about the kidnapping, the attempted theft, the successful theft, the Grand Theft Auto, the kidnapping, the assault of a victim of kidnap, and assault with a deadly weapon, sure, they might not be able to keep you forever, but they can definitely keep you for quite a while. And by quite a while, I mean decades. So then, episode 6 ends with the entire neighborhood being arrested. I don't know if that's possible or if that's even ever happened before in the history of anything anywhere, but it sure is hilarious. Hold up, I've just read the synopsis for the show. Let me just share this little gem with you. The show follows Robyn Loxley and the anti-authoritarian masked hip-hop band. Now, that description is funny enough alone. Now, me, myself, as a musician, I have met many a band and many an artist, but I have to say, I am yet to come across an anti-authoritarian masked hip-hop band. That's a new one. And also, when you say anti-authoritarian, just to make sure we're all clear here, are you talking about Canada? the authoritarian country that is Canada. They call out injustices and fight for freedom and equality in the city of New Nottingham, righting the wrongs of the corrupt elite to give back to the people. Okay, once again, we're talking about Canada. I hate to be the one to break it to you, but you've got quite a lot of freedom. And the only freedom I've seen you guys fight for so far in this show is the freedom to break the law and not be punished for it. Now look, having laws that seek to protect the safety of everyone, rich or poor, is not authoritarian, you absolute maniac writers. And taking to the streets with a bow and arrow to deliver what you believe to be justice is not anti-authoritarian. What you're trying to start is a junta. That's not fun!
New Nottingham can rest easy tonight knowing you've disarmed such a dangerous criminal gang.
I mean, she's being sarcastic, but they did disarm a gang armed with a gun. You know, call me a wet noodle, but I'd call that pretty dangerous. I don't discriminate. I don't care if it's a bullet, if it's an arrow, or if it's depleted uranium. If it's capable of putting a big hole in me, I'm gonna go ahead and call that dangerous.
Unless you have real charges, you legally cannot keep us here.
Look, they even locked up the opera woman. Get fooled. So, they've got everyone locked up in 2 separate cages. Wasn't aware that the police owned those, but there we go. And in each cage, they've got a portaloo with the door ripped off, which is hilarious. But what's even funnier than that is that they're being fed rations worse than that of a World War I soldier.
About time we got some food. It's been hours.
What about water? We need water.
Alan.
They gave them 3 sandwiches between all of them. What made me laugh was the fact that, you know, they're trying to portray all these police officers as being like really evil and intimidating, but the fact is they took the time to individually wrap all the different sandwiches in little Ziploc bags to make sure that the bread doesn't go bad. That's so thoughtful and not scary.
Look at me. The pain stops when I get a name.
They're now using low impact workouts as a form of interrogation.
What's going on here?
That, my friend, is a wall-assisted squat. It's really good for the quads and the glutes. Yeah.
I got you. Hey.
Where did you learn to do this?
The army.
You just put a bandage on his arm. It's like, she's like, where did you learn to do that? And he's like, I learned to do it in the army. Meanwhile, he's just bandage. Put the bandage on.
It wasn't the sheriff. Something else. Something worse.
No, but for real, like, what did they actually do to him? Because by the looks of it, I'd say they've given him Parkinson's. You know, I don't think that's standard police procedure. I don't even think that's possible.
Think so bad you're hoarding food?
Making sure everybody eats.
You're making sure everyone eats by keeping 2 of the 3 sandwiches that have been given to you to feed everyone. Okay. Well, since we're using logic like that, why don't I steal your car keys just to make sure everyone can drive? Come on. Be cool.
Let's say I do. You make your little report. Say the sheriff is breaking the law, then what?
Okay, why is she putting on this deep voice? You could tell she's putting it on, because sometimes she'll talk in a normal voice.
When? Tomorrow? Next week while we sit in here losing our minds?
That's what like 12-year-old boys do to sound tougher. If I suddenly started sitting here now and started talking to you like this, you'd be like, what the hell are you doing? And you'd rightly make fun of me for it.
It's not a burden you've asked for, but they need a leader.
They do not need a leader. And if they did, it definitely shouldn't be Robyn. She's the reason they're all there in the first place. She's responsible for every single person who's been detained along with her who is not a member of a gang. She pulled them into this. That's on her. That attitude is not someone seeking equality and freedom. That's someone acting recklessly and skirting responsibility. Round here, we call that a coward, not a hero.
You think the Hood should go to jail?
Yes, for quite a long time. I didn't think that was up for debate. On second thought, they're definitely innocent. Yeah, just let them go.
But heroes need to step up, even when it costs them.
You know what? That's the first solid bit of advice in the show. I 100% agree. In fact, that is the exact definition of a hero, is it not? Someone that does something even though it's going to cost them. So maybe this woman is going to be like some sort of mentor that's going to help Robyn realize that she really can step up and become the hero.
Your job. I forgot. Above your pay grade.
Oh no, I guess she's just going to continue acting like a douchebag. There's that too. Yeah, there's that. And I tell you what, Robyn's sister's t-shirt perfectly sums up this kind of pseudo anti-hero persona everyone's got going on. You are not what you think you are only what you actually are. If you do a terrible thing, thinking that you're a hero, that doesn't then make you a hero. You are only what you do. You are the morals that you uphold. You are what you give to this world and the people around you. No one should give a good goddamn what I think I am. I am only what I prove myself to be through strength of character, through resilience, self-sacrifice, an unwavering ownership of my own responsibilities. That's why you put the work in becoming the person that you want to be. So that you don't have to spend any time thinking about what you are. You don't have to spend any time telling anyone what you are, because you've chiseled it with such clarity into the face of reality that no one can even begin to question it being anything other than what it is, or you being anything other than who you are. That's when you win at life, when you've pushed the boulder up the hill, rather than standing around looking for a reason as to why it shouldn't be you to do it. No one asked you to push the boulder, and chances are it isn't your boulder to push. But you chose to push it up the hill anyway, and in doing so, you've lifted that burden off someone else. That's the definition of a hero. That's a hero. At least that's what I saw written on the side of a toilet cubicle one time. I thought it sounded kind of cool. Should we get back to the video? And they've got Little John tied up and looking a little bit sus. Not sure why he's topless, but I'm sure they're going to start torturing him or something. Nah, there's no way. there's no way. They're trolling us. This is an inside job. There's no way. So, Robyn and the gang break out of jail, if you could call it that. And where do these genius vigilantes go? They just go home. Legit, they just go straight back to their domiciles as though nothing happened and as though they can't just immediately be found there. Plot. And now we're on to the final episode, and it kicks off with Robyn and Little John, who are lying in bed together, and oh boy, Little John is a really good listener.
Me and Jill were playing with these wooden swords Mom made us. We had this epic sword fight.
Why are we still here?
Jill tried to color it over with crayon.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
A house without scars isn't really a home. Just when you thought they couldn't take anything else.
And once again, the show vastly overestimates the power of one person with a megaphone.
As of tomorrow at dawn, these towers will be private property and you will be trespassers. You have until then to vacate the premises before you are removed.
I don't know if everyone's going to hear you, mate. People around the back of the building are going to think they're being evicted by Bane or something. Not my best joke, but it was all right. They brought 4 squad cars to protect 1 megaphone. It's a tough job, but someone's got to do it.
Fine, it's not going to your mom's anyway.
I swear, the deep voice that she's putting on is just getting deeper and deeper. I would love to see the stage directions written on the side of the script for this woman. Just sound severely concussed. Take ketamine. I don't know.
Marion.
Robyn, I got this data legally. The less you know about where it's going, the better.
And there goes another crime to throw on the pile. Our band of heroes are now resorting to obtaining evidence illegally and also intend on using that illegally obtained evidence in order to further their cause. Illegally obtained evidence usually refers to evidence that is obtained by violating another person's human rights, in this case, theft. And using or acquiring illegal evidence is, you guessed it, it's illegal. Who'd have thought? But never mind that, because the Hood finally reveal their identities to Robyn's mom.
No.
I don't know why Robyn looks so smug here. Her mum is like, I don't want to work with people like you. Scram. And Robyn's big reveal is, oh, no, don't worry. You know that criminal that you don't want to associate with or don't particularly like very much? That's me. Isn't that cool?
The rich steal from us every day. I was just taking some of it back.
Again, someone attempting to legally acquire the building that you live in is not theft. But breaking into a rich guy's home to steal his stuff is legitimate theft. And by stuff, I mean a priceless pile of gold that they attempted to steal, his Rolls Royce, which they did steal, oh, and his son that they kidnapped. That is legitimate theft. Scratch that, that's grand theft.
They've changed. They need a leader. They're gonna fight no matter what.
Why is all modern entertainment about needing a leader or becoming a leader?
She's not going to be safe with the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
And you know what? That sounds like a very valiant cause. After all, people like Winston Churchill were leaders. But the fact is, the term leader is actually very indiscriminate. Let's not forget that people like Mussolini was also a leader, as was Chairman Mao. So, when we're talking about a group that go about rampantly committing crime, you say leader, but what you're actually asking for is a kingpin.
Sometimes family doesn't see eye to eye.
All of a sudden, the name Robyn Hood has lost a little bit of its romance, hasn't it? I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little bit dramatic. Maybe Robyn will now step up and become the hero that everyone needs.
It's beautiful.
It comes with all the new options. Give the beast something to chew on, right?
Perfect.
Or maybe they'll just threaten the lives of law enforcement with newly found deadly force. That's also an option.
You must be Tuck.
So I must.
You know this. You both met like 5 minutes ago when you all revealed your identities to her. Like, okay, sure. Pointing out continuity errors in this show is a bit like complaining that the scallops on the Hindenburg were a little bit underdone. But come on, this was like 2 scenes ago. And there we go, halfway into the final episode, and the bad guy has finally committed his first legitimate crime. And it's property damage. It is, granted, only a mobile phone, so he probably won't see any actual prison time and just be slapped with a negligible fine, but it is a crime. Okay, that's cool and all, but why did it need to be attached to an arrow? Wouldn't you have had just a much easier time just throwing a traditional smoke grenade? Not to mention the fact that Just like throwing a smoke grenade carries a far more lenient sentence than firing a deadly weapon towards police officers. That's such a dumb way of needlessly increasing your jail sentence.
You're gonna evict a quarter of the city?
Oh, God, no. That would take ages. And so I bought the levees as well, because accidents happen, barriers break, lakes flood. Every castle needs a moat.
So we're more than halfway into the final episode, and the evil rich guy finally explains his master plan, which is, rather than taking the time evicting the people who live in the properties that he owns, he is instead going to blow the dams that he bought in order to flood those areas and kill the people, which is apparently quicker. So, you know, that's hilarious. But even funnier than that, the guy who shot Robyn's mum turns up at her apartment and delivers what is probably the best line from the show.
Honey, I'm home.
And then Robyn swoops in to save the day with a condom jar.
What do we do with him? We win.
No, I think she meant, what are you going to do with his limp body, you maniac? She didn't ask you to do your best Charlie Sheen impression.
Some are saying that you're bipolar.
I'm bi winning. I win here and I win there. Now what?
And then the ending was actually a little more disappointing than I imagined it would be. So, because Robyn's mum live streamed this 5-second clip.
I mean, the sheriff wanted it to look good, but this is perfect.
And that was apparently sufficient evidence to prove something. And then that caused the rich guy's acquisition of the towers to fall through. And so everyone lives happily ever after. And then they teased the possibility of a season 2.
As of this moment, the Hood are wanted for murder.
And I think I speak on behalf of literally tens of people when I say, please, please, please make a season 2. I would genuinely watch it. I actually enjoyed watching this TV show. I'm not joking. I'm not being sarcastic. There's no irony. I genuinely enjoyed watching this show. Okay, sure. Not for any of the reasons that the creators would have liked, but if entertainment is entertaining, then that entertainment I will entertain. You know what I mean? This landed itself firmly within the so bad it's good category, and it kept me laughing for 6 straight hours, essentially. So I will be eagerly awaiting Director X's announcement of season 2. And if not this show, then might I suggest King Arthur next? That'd be a lot of fun. And remember, the main sponsor of the channel, CYBERPOWER PC UK, is currently running Black Friday deals until the 27th of November. Check those out with the link in the description while you can, and I'll see you in the next one. And as always, a big shout out to the patrons and the channel members. We have the top tiers, the Knights of Law, Flunky, Posawon, Infinite Dumdum, David, Jax, Koss, ATS, Texas Lawman, Michael Turpia, Dagger D69, nice, Saint Nemo, Steve the Goat, Michael Spakowski, Digital EXE, Nystagmus, and the Grand Admiral. And of course, the tier 2s, Saeed, Dr. Malski, Yonwich, Hadziu, Kanadagorachi, Mark Maiden, Sensei Fang, Medicam Bias, Rich Warwick, Michael S, Stu Cheeks, Agent Mo62, Kidnap Tiger, Micah and Jarek, and McLegend Face. And of course, a big shout out to each one of the tier 1s as well. Thank you to everyone on this list for supporting me here on this channel. And there we go, another day, another video. Will you join me for my next one? You better do, you little merry man. But until then, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all very soon.